Hi and welcome to this video. My name is Julian Koma from Market Update Premium. We trade growth and momentum stocks. Today I want to show you my best new stock screener for momentum and growth stocks in TradingView. I used Finwiz and also Market Search for a long time, and I think both are great tools, but I'm switching more and more to TradingView because I think they also build up a very powerful scanner. And today I want to show you how I use it and what are the settings that I use in the screener. So you will find the screener in TradingView here if you click on this small button here, and then you come into the screening view. So, and I usually toggle the window on the right side. So this is the button here where you can put the window on the right side. And then you have a split screen. On the left side, you have your chart, you have your watch list in the middle, and on the right side, you have your screener. And there are a lot of options here in the screener. So for example, you can use a table view of all the stocks that come up in the scan, or you can use the chart view. And I usually use the chart view for that. So, and then you can also say, okay, which style do you want to see? Do you use bar charts or candles, lines or area, and also the time frame? I use bar charts in all my charts, and for the time frame I use year to date because in that time frame I can see all the daily bars for the last couple of weeks. And I use this screener mostly in the daily chart, but once a week on Friday usually I also go through that in the weekly charts, and you can easily switch that around. If you click here on the yearly button, then you are in the weekly chart. All right, so let's have a look at the criteria that I'm using here. So first of all, I use the US market because I trade US stocks, but you can also click on it and you can switch that to other markets as well. But if you do that, you have to adjust the parameters here in the scan and adjust it to your home market. So then I use a price filter. So every stock above $1 comes up in the scan, but you can also switch that. So if you want to, for example, say I want only look at $10 stocks, then you can also type in here a 10 in the manual setup. But of course, then you will get less entries here in the screener. Then I use the ADR, average daily range percentage filter. So I only want to see very, very strong moving stocks that have a higher volatility. And I use 4.5 here. But I usually trade stocks with an ADR percentage of 5 or more. But I want to give it some room here so that in case that a stock maybe has an ADR of just, let's say 4.8 or something like that, that it still pops up in my scans. So then I use a filter, and this is a very important filter. You maybe know that from my other videos when I created the strongest stocks screener for Finwiz, which is still a very good screening tool, and it's also a great screener at all because it shows you the strongest stocks in the market. But the results are very similar to this TradingView scan. So, and one of the basic criteria for both screens is the 42-week low scan. So this is one filter, and it says nothing else than the stock has to trade 70% or more above the 52-week low. And maybe you now ask yourself and say, what? But now the stock is very extended. That's not true. That's not true. And I want to show you a very quick example. So if you look here at SanDisk, one of the best performers in the last couple of months, and let's remove all the drawings very quickly and the indicators so that you have a clear picture on that. You know, look at that. Where is the 52-week low in that case? The 52-week low is here. So, and then let's have a look at 70%. Wow, it's around the highs, right? So you can see 109%, and then the real rally started on the upside. That's why I use this criteria. I did a lot of backtests with that, and 70% is a great value for more fast-moving stocks. If you trade more slow-moving stocks, you maybe want to put that down to, let's say, 50%. So, and to create that, you need the price filter, and then you go into the manual setup, and then you can say, percentage above 70% or more, and then you can then you can select here above the low, and then you can select the time frame 52 weeks. So and this is how you get this filter, and it shows you the strongest momentum stocks. So then I want to make sure that the stock is moving at all, so that's why I have a performance filter here. Performance 3 months should be above 0%. You can also increase that a little bit, but 0% is enough for me. And then I have some volume filters here, 2 volume filters. The first one is price multiplied with the average 30-day volume should be above 10 million. So that means the stock should trade on average, it's not every day, but on average 10 million US dollar per day. The price multiplied with the average volume. So I want liquid stocks. You know, the most stocks that I trade, they have a liquidity of 10 to 20, 50, 100 million or even more. So this is really the lowest value that I accept. So, and then I also have another screener here, or another filter, price multiplied with volume. This is the yesterday's volume, should be above 5 million. Why? Very simple. When you have a stock that pops up one day very strongly on huge volume, it will come up in your scans. But on the next day, the volume is maybe very low, and then I filter these out. You can also increase these values if you want to have more liquid stocks. So you can also put that on 100 million, or maybe this one here on 25 million, something like that. Or when you have a very small account, then you can also decrease that and say, okay, I also trade stocks that maybe trade only 3 million US dollar per day. So then you can also change that. So now we get 390 stocks here. And maybe you now say, oh, 390 stocks, I don't have any time to go through that. You don't have to go through all the stocks. So it's absolutely enough if you focus on I would say the first 10 to 20%, maybe a little bit more. I personally go through all the stocks every day, and it's very, very simple because I know exactly what I'm looking for. I described that also in my other videos, especially in the Finway Screener video, but also in market search videos. So I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I make the window a little bit bigger here. And then when I go through the screener, I only scroll through that. And the thing what I'm looking for are very tight consolidations after a big move. You can see that here with BW as an example. The stock is in a very clear uptrend, made a big move, and now you have the tight consolidation here. I can also show it here in the detailed chart. So this is something I'm interested in, and this is a stock I put on the watch list. The same is true for a stock like Nova Minerals here. Very big up move, clear uptrend, now pulling back, getting tight. That's a stock I'm interested in. Same is true for AXT. Strong uptrend, it's now consolidating. It builds higher lows here and higher highs. So this is a stock I'm interested in. But if you look at another stock here like Data Vault, I'm not interested in that anymore. So I traded that here on this big up move, but I'm not interested in that anymore because you could see it's broken down here. It needs to build a longer base. And that's a stock I'm not looking at. I scroll over these stocks. And also the same is true for very extended stocks like Terrence Pharmaceuticals here. There is no setup. There is nothing interesting here. So that's why I scroll to the next stocks here. But if you look here at Cambium, for example, big up move, consolidation, it's getting tighter. That's interesting. Or VTYX here looks not bad. This one also, you can see that here on the left side, big up move, consolidation, and so on. And this is how you can scroll through a lot of stocks in a very short period of time. I'm using this scan on a daily base, but I'm using that on a weekly base too. And also my members are using this screener as well as also the Finway screener. It depends a little bit on which tool do you like. And it's, especially for part-time traders, it's very often enough to go through this screen once a week and look for opportunities. I'm doing that on a daily basis because, I want to also get a feeling for the market and see what is coming up, where are the themes and also the stocks that are interesting. And this is how I can go through 390 stocks in something like 15 minutes. It's very, very simple. So, and when you don't have so much time, then you can use the weekly chart here. You switch to the 1 year, and then you have the weekly charts. And it's the same thing here. What you want to look for are tight consolidations. You can see that here, SPRB, Spruce Bioscience. This one here is getting tight after a big up move. Could be interesting. It's not liquid enough for me, but you can see it's forming like a bottom after a big up move, so could be interesting. But other stocks that are very extended, like SanDisk, for example, they are not interesting, or like Soluna Holdings, this one is broken down. But you can see that here, for example, with Nova Minerals, you can see that this thing builds higher lows and higher highs, and it's going sideways after a big up move. So this could be interesting. The same is true for Babcock & Wilkins. It created here an inside week, which could be also an interesting opportunity. And you can see that here before, the stock was going sideways for many months after, for many weeks after it made a big move on the upside. So that could be also interesting. And when you look at the chart here, this is the daily chart, you can see it went sideways here for a long time and then started to move higher. And you get the same good setups also in the weekly chart. And if you do not have enough time, you can prepare your watch list once a week. So for example, this one here looks extremely good, going sideways, could be interesting. Or the other stocks that I mentioned in the daily chart, like VTYX or INBX here, they are going sideways after they made a big move here. So they are looking interesting, could be interesting for future trading opportunities. Or Mineralis here, or this one has an inside week here, could be interesting. But other stocks like Iran here, which we traded also on the way up, this is now broken down. This is nothing I have to look at. So I only want the strong stocks on my watch list, and also on, or I want to pick them from my screeners. Here, Graal, for example, looks extremely good, going sideways, just needs a little bit more time. But you can see the pattern here that I showed you with other stocks before. Big up move, consolidation over a couple of weeks. It's getting tight here in the weekly chart. And this is how you can go through a lot of stocks in a very short period of time. So, and I can only recommend to you to do that regularly, right? As a trader, you always want to be prepared. It doesn't matter if the market is in a correction like now, or if the market is in a very strong uptrend. You want to do your homework, and you want to do that consistently. It doesn't matter if it's daily or if it's weekly, but you want to stick to that, and you want to have a routine, because over time you build up a lot of experience with the screener and also the setups that are coming up in your scans. And I'm teaching that. I'm teaching that to my video course students. I'm teaching that also to my members, and they are getting better and better over time. I can see the progress in the community and with my members. So if you are interested to learn more, you can join the Market Update Premium community 14 days for free. Every time you will meet a lot of passionate growth and momentum traders. You will get daily trading ideas. You will get also insights when to trade and when not to trade, and also a lot of educational stuff, for example, about screening, building watch lists, etc. So you can join the Market Update Premium community every time, 14 days for free.